This is the book of Mark, chapter 3, verse 23. And he called them unto him, and said unto them in parables, How can Satan cast out Satan? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai, by Hashem, Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the elect of the nation of Israel, starting with the 144,000, which should be the ruling governing body in the kingdom of heaven. All right, which the 144,000 will be all men. You also have the large multitude of believers, which will be men, women, and children. They'll be saved here in America. 2/3 of our people will be destroyed. Right, you have the rebels that are scattered abroad in different countries. They'll be destroyed as well. And you have some elect that scattered abroad in different countries that will be saved, of who the world willingly and ignorantly calls black, Hispanic, Native American, Puerto Rican, Dominican, Jamaican, Haitian, Guatemala, Panamanians, Cubans. We are the Israelites, contrary to what the world wants to believe. I'm your brother Yeremia, come back at y'all with a quick lesson. This is basically about what I overheard somebody saying yesterday. It was an Edomite woman and Jake, Spanish Jake. I work with them. I was at work and I just heard them talking. And I was kind of like in the next room. They was really right there, really outside the room that I was in. But pretty much what happened was, and that's the reason why I have this picture up on the screen as well. Right, you got the so-called white man and so-called white woman. Right, obviously they're at odds with each other. Right, they're not on one accord. I'm bringing this up because it's like a testimony video, because the so-called white woman, or the Edomite woman, and the Spanish-speaking Jake that was talking, mind you, this is like my first day meeting her yesterday, and she started a couple of days ago, but I haven't seen her since she started, so it's my first time even meeting her today, which was yesterday, and getting to know her or whatever at the job. And but they was talking, and I heard the Spanish-speaking Jake. He's really proud of his I guess his culture and just how they do things. He cleaves onto his mom's side, but he's really Ephraimite, right? Which those are the Puerto Ricans, so called, right? But he cleaves into his like I said, his mom's side, which are Dominicans. He wants to be a Simeonite because that's who he was raised with, which I get it, but you really Ephraimite, because you are who your father is. But like I said, they was talking, and he ended up saying something about, I think there was a radio on in there. He ended up saying that he likes listening to Spanish music. I guess they were talking about what they like and all that, and then next thing you know, I heard her say something about, I don't like white people, and she's so-called white. At least I believe she's a Edomite, at least. Just off seeing her and just how she was moving and stuff. And she said some other things. I think she may have said like she don't like their culture, or just like what they do or something like that. And it's just so like it's a wonderful thing, because we're in the time of Esau being exposed. And there's no turning back. Once the woman of your nation is not with you, I mean, the men are the leaders, but you need the woman to be on your side as well. She's supposed to be on your side, but to help. Women do have a purpose, but the men are the leaders. But that's how you know their nation is done, and it's not gonna come back together, man. And really, I thought I heard her say something about black people this, black people that, like just basically saying how we influence everybody or something like that. I thought I heard her say that, but I know I heard her say that she doesn't like white people. She straight up said that. It was the first time I met her, but she wasn't talking to me when she said it. But it was just funny, man, because it's spiritual. We're in those times, man. Esau's kingdom is really falling, man. Call hello, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, that this is happening. right? Because we ain't trying to be here forever, which we know we ain't gonna be here forever. We believe through faith, right? The Lord said He's matter of fact, let me go to Isaiah. Is it Isaiah 63? I want to get. Let me see. Yep. Let me see. I'm going to start at Isaiah 63, verse 1. It says, "Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? This that is glorious in his apparel," talking about Yahushua, "traveling in the greatness of his strength," right? "I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save," which he's going to say to the Israelites, "Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat?" So it's not, his garment ain't gonna literally be red, right? It's a figure of speech, right? It says, "I have trodden the winepress alone," right? Hey, Yahushua gonna give all the credit, man, because he's gonna do a lot of the damage, right? It says, "And of the people there was none with me, for I will tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury. And their blood should be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain on my raiment." Once again, that's a figure of speech. It's just symbolic of how many people is going to be put to death, right? It says, let me see. Verse 4 says, "For the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of my redeemed is come." You see, so the Lord, He's been dreading this day, man. He's been waiting on this day to come take you Edomites down, man, right? So that's what's getting ready to happen, man, right? The Lord is tearing y'all apart piece by piece as a nation, right? Between the man and woman, right? He's tearing down this economic system. He's tearing down the morality of this system and in society. Everything about a so-called white person, which they're not whites, they're Edomites, right? It's going down the drain, right? What people once thought you was, what they once thought they was, it's not that anymore, right? The truth of who you are is out, man. And we was talking about that at the last camp, me and the brother, right? And you can't come back from that, man. Once you expose, that's it. You know? And it's a beautiful thing that y'all are at odds, because the so-called black man and woman, the so-called Spanish, man and woman have been at odds for a long time. We've been under the curses. Now it's getting ready to be y'all turn. It's getting ready to be y'all turn. Right, and this is like normal, pretty much normal everyday conversation, as far as a lot of these Edomite women coming against their men, like the Elder Malcolm in GMS Chicago says, hey, they done, man. They women are not with them. They turning on them. They speaking out against them every chance they can get, and this is how the woman feels. This is how the Edomite woman feels about the Edomite man. They not with them at all. That's why they been cleaving on the Jake. They been doing it even when we was in chattel slavery, right? They been doing that. Like I said, they tired of all the lies, the bullshit that they've been feeding the world. Right, this is Job, Salakia 30 and verse 8. It says, "They were children of fools, yea, children of base men. They were viler than the earth." You see that? They really come from, really, if you want to go all the way back to the origins, Mount Petra, right? Which we know they call themselves Caucasians as well. They was in the caves at one period of time, which that is a cave. But the main caves that everybody knows is the Caucasus Mountains in Georgia, Russia, right? These people lived in the caves at one point in time. What you call a caveman, that was them. It wasn't everybody. It wasn't us. It wasn't, so-called Negroes or Hispanics, Native Americans. It was your ass. All right, and after Rome fell, that's where they was at for 1,000 years during the Dark Ages. Right, where if you look it up, Esau will tell you that there was no type of creativity going on. There was no influence. There was no knowledge going out throughout the earth. There was no ingenuity. Everything was just, going to shit. Right, but they lie. Right, and that's what they do. But like I said, we're in a time to where they're against each other, man, more than ever, man. And that scripture, it stands so true as far as, a kingdom divided cannot stand, right? Your woman not being on your side, if she going against you, she helping out the other nations. Because she got to get love from somewhere. You know, we're not condoning adultery, of course, but that's what they do that anyway. You know? They do that anyway. Let me get Job 27 and verse 15, because the spirit that she was in saying that, hey, this is Job 27 and verse 15. Those that remain of him shall be buried in death, right? You know, the time that we come into Jacob's trouble, which is not only for Jacob, but that's going to be for really all the world, right? There's going to be a lot of Edomites that get put to death, and the ones that make it past that, and they're going to be buried to death by those missiles, right? And his widow shall not weep. Woo! Hey, that's what that reminded me of. She obviously don't give a damn about her own people. Saying that, she said it straight up. She don't care about white people. They have no good to bring to the earth. They don't do anything right. The history is tainted, right? It's, you know, like the scriptures say, they're filled with shame for glory, right? It's a beautiful time, man. Call her Lord YASHAMIAHLA, man. You know, like I said, in the moment of time, I didn't expect her to say that, you know, but I wasn't surprised, you know, in the back of my head, because I know that's what time we in, man. That's where we at with it, right? And Esau, he know, you know, that he's undergoing judgment in a way. He know that everybody's against him. So what is this nigga gonna do? He's gonna wild out. He's gonna crash out, right? And rightfully so, man. You know, you been ruling. This nigga ain't gonna go out. You know, being a female dog. You know, brothers know what I'm talking about. This is Deuteronomy 30 verse 7. It says, and the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thy enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. You see? So that's coming very soon, man. Which, you know, they still in their kingdom, but the curses are slowly coming upon them, right? You know, seeing this division amongst the so-called white men and white women, it's a beautiful thing, man. And a lot of them, they having reproductive issues. They been having that. They can't just pop out babies like how Jakes can, like how so-called black people can, the so-called Hispanic Native Americans, which are the Israelites. They can't do that. And a lot of their women, they been getting with men of other nations, especially Jake. You know? So I think there's a quote, I forgot who said it, but basically I believe it says something to the effect of, like, if your woman is, like, you know, out here or just, you know, not in submission or control, your nation is not in submission or control. So, you know, the woman, like I said earlier, she has a very valuable role as far as nation building, because if she's not in the same mindset as you, she's not following your lead, she gonna go to somebody else. That's what's gonna happen. Right? Because, you know, Esau got to where he's at because of prophecy, right? It was meant to happen. But his woman helped him at the same time. But she's also going to help him in the downfall of his kingdom because she's against him. This is Sirach 41 and verse 7. Lord willing, I'll do another video on this Edomite. I meant to do it a couple days ago. He was talking about how he's tired of feeling guilty because he's white or being responsible for something he didn't do. It was a video with that nigga Antoine Daniels, whatever his name is. That Jake gonna be destroyed. You know, but all y'all Edomites deserve what y'all get. You know, you just tired of being exposed, and you tired of, you know, people talking about you. Hey, we been going through these things, man. You can't take it at all, can you? But this is Sirach 41 and verse 7. It says, the children will complain of an ungodly father, because they shall be reproached for his sake. Whew. Woo. You know, and that goes into what I was just talking about, the Edomite talking about how, you know, he don't want to feel guilty no more, or we're not going to be silent, we're going to embrace who we are. You know, I didn't do it. You know how Esau talks. You know, I didn't do it. I'm not the one responsible. It was my ancestors. Nigga, you are your ancestors. Right? There's nothing you could do about it. So I just want to do a quick video on this, man. Esau, you're done. Right? Yahushua is coming back to take what's rightfully his, this whole earth, and to possess all you heathen. Right? And set up the Israelites under him and to rule forever. Right? And yeah, you know, how this video was edifying to the Lord's elect. I'm gonna close out. I will give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Till next time, I want to say Baba Ball. Shalom. Keep the faith, Jake. Shalom.